You wrote the post, you optimized the post, you published the post. And now you've refreshed your analytics 17 times and that needle still isn't moving in a favorable direction. Here's the thing. Social media is not an end-all be-all blog traffic strategy. And the great news about that is that this is fixable. And that is my favorite kind of problem to have. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha, and welcome to A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. I help day one entrepreneurs take that first terrifying leap into business ownership without completely losing their minds in the process. This channel is for the people who are standing on the edge of something really scary, but also equally just as marvelous, wondering if they are absolutely unhinged for considering the jump. Before we get started on today's episode, I just want to let you know that Hot Mess Triage, my business coaching service, has moved from Thursday, Friday, Saturday to now Sundays and Tuesdays. I'm really sorry about the inconvenience on that. That is effective immediately. The reason for that is if you've been following my channel for a little while, you know that I was in a car accident and I now have been cleared to go back to work. So I need that to mesh with my work schedule. So Sundays and Tuesdays, I am available from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope that still works for schedules across the globe because I know I was talking to some people from Asia and some people on the West Coast. So if that's an issue, just reach out to me and we'll try to come to some sort of agreement. But you can find how to get to Hot Mess Triage using the link to my Stan store that is in my YouTube description. So today we're talking about blog traffic strategy and just what actually works and what is kind of wasting your time. I was recently talking to a couple of new bloggers and I realized that there's still, blogging is still new to someone out there. So that's why I created the Your First Blog series because of these conversations I've been having in like Facebook groups and stuff like that, that I feel like there is information I can provide about this, having been a full-time blogger at some point. So, um, social media is not an end-all be-all, and we'll talk about that. Don't sleep on Pinterest. I have a whole video that's literally called "Do Not Sleep on Pinterest" because it's a visual search engine and not a social media platform. And as you would learn in that video, and there's just a lot of really cool things you can be doing with your blog um, as you build it that would help your traffic in the long run instead of focusing on social media as a I hit the microphone. It's an episode so early. Oh my goodness. Instead of using social media as a strategy. So let's talk about different strategies that you can use to help your blog get the organic traffic that you're looking for, to get that conversion that you're looking for. So I want to talk about a myth that I would like to bust when it comes to using social media for your blog. I want to say specifically like Instagram. Um, Apps like Instagram are designed for you to stay on them. That's why they have the shop available, the shop option. So you can shop someone's shop through Instagram. You're still technically in Instagram. Um, if you've ever noticed that you click on someone's like shop link, the link in their bio, if you exit out of it, you are still technically cruising through Instagram. So the whole point is for you to stay on the app. So it's not very easy to share your blog or your blog posts and have people leave the app because the whole point is to stay on the app, right? So you can share links in stories. I think you can share links in reels and stuff now if you have those certain verified tiers, if I'm not mistaken. Um you can do some stuff like that. But for Instagram specifically, it's really hard to get traffic from Instagram to your blog unless you have like a massive following with a good conversion. It is very difficult to do that. Now, Facebook is easier to plug your blog posts because um they have a nice link set up. So if you use your blog post as the post for Facebook, it has like, it shows your featured image, the little meta description, and it's really easy for people to go to the blog from there. Same for Twitter, Threads, um, and YouTube is all about videos and stuff, right? So that's a little bit different, but you could still put your blog in your, like on your profile, to have people go to it. And you can also put links in your YouTube description to have people go to your blog and try and drive traffic that way. Now, um, I just think it's really crucial to have that honest information. This is not taking a poo on any social media platforms or YouTube or threads or meta or anything like that. It's just that's how they work. So you want to use what works for conversion for your blog. So I do want to go through just a quick little list of a few things that help your blog get organic traffic. Bear with me because I am going to read off my list and I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. But first of all, there are two things literally in an order that are the most important way to get organic traffic to your blog. The first one, having a good SEO strategy and using a plugin like Yoast. It's spelt like toast but with a Y, Yoast, Yoast. Having a good plugin like that on your side just does wonders for your blog because it makes it findable and ranking high in Google as long as you follow what it is that it's telling you to do, like making sure your posts are at least 300 words and using keywords just one time. Like if, say, for me, like I use like different mythological things. So, like, one thing I use is cryptids, and it'll make sure that I don't repeat using cryptids again. So I don't have two posts competing with each other for high ranking spots, right? Um, it lets you know to put external links in, internal links in, making sure you're using alt text for your images. Like it just sees everything that you're doing, and it basically helps you check off a list, and it goes through a green light, orange light, and red light system. So if you're green, you're good. If you're orange, it's okay. And if you're in the red, you need improvement. It doesn't say it's bad, it just says needs improvement. So it doesn't make you feel too bad about yourself. But I love Yoast. I cannot recommend it enough. And it's very, very helpful with an SEO strategy because you want to rank high in Google. And a half life for blog posts in Google right now is over 2 years. So if you're searching for something in Google today and you're searching for something about penguins, right? There are blog posts about penguins that are 2 years old that are still showing up within the search results. So make sure you have a good SEO strategy. And I think those years are only going to grow because um last year it was under 2 years for the half-life of blog posts. This year it's over 2 years already and we're not even through the whole year yet. And I think truly, I think it's because of all the AI written stuff out there. So, and I mean that respectfully. I love AI. I use it for my business to help me organize and stuff like that. But I think because there's so much AI stuff written, Google looks for well organized, well thought out, valuable content, things that were written a little bit earlier or a little bit, you know what I mean? Not as recently, um, because the chances are a little higher it was written by a person and not the trending AI situation we have right now. So, SEO strategy is the most important thing to have. Secondly, Pinterest. Pinterest is a visual search engine that will become your best friend and a high converter leading to your blog. What else we have here are using your email list. If you have an email list, just send, like, I have bloggers I know who do quarterly updates, monthly updates. Some do it weekly if they write weekly, but everybody has like a different rhythm as to, like, hey, here's what's new on the blog. And they'll share like a quarterly update of like maybe their top 3 trending posts or something like that. So just something to consider if you have an email list or you're working on growing an email list. That's a good place to try and get conversion to your blog because people are signing up to hear from you and to get value from you. So give them that value with the blog posts that you're writing. Um, Collaboration. This one is huge, especially when you start to get into domain authority, which is how your website is sort of graded, in terms of it can go from 1 to 100. So think brand new website is a 1, you can't ever be a 0. So brand new website is a 1 and Google is 100, just to give you like the spectrum. I got my blog up to 23. I know other travel bloggers such as like Kiki from the Blonde Abroad. I think she's at like a 60 or something like that. Like I mean, she's just a fantastic blogger. So, her blog does very well in terms of like domain authority. So, just to give you an idea of where you can rank really well for having a blog. So don't think that you can't. But um, you know, the more that you work with people who have higher domain authorities than you do and they link back to your blog, it helps bump your blog up, especially if their site is very credible and trustworthy to the Google algorithm and web crawling. It helps bring your domain authority up. So collaboration is key. Collaboration is really great. And knowing other bloggers is really great in general because it's just one of those things where you create like little communities and little friends and networking with people who get it, right? And people who can help you through stuff. So, I found collaborations with which some are archived now because those people stop blogging, their websites are down for forever, I'm sure, that kind of thing. But I found people through like a lot of Facebook groups. And, I, when in a different world, when Instagram was in its infancy, like I found a lot of people through Instagram. But I feel like it's a little more difficult to connect with people on Instagram now. But um, yeah, that's pretty much where I found other bloggers to collaborate with is by joining different groups. And there's a lot of niche blogger groups out there. So if you do baby names, if you do travel, if you are a mommy blog, um, a recipe blog, anything like that, there are so many Facebook groups out there for you to find people to collaborate with and whatever to get backlinks to your blog of people who have higher domain authorities. So just look into that. So I want to talk about Pinterest specifically here because I did talk about SEO and domain authority with Google. Pinterest has an amazing half life, and I've talked about half lives before, such as with Instagram, it's like 19 hours. Your post is still kind of in the algorithm its before it kind of loses its novelty in the algorithm. Um, Facebook, I think, is 5 hours. Twitter is 18 minutes. Threads hasn't shown up on a half life yet. Um, TikTok is 1 day. LinkedIn is about 23 to 24 hours. So you have these half lives on these different platforms where your post is only going to be seen for a certain amount of time or engaged with for a certain amount of time before the algorithm kind of drops it off if it doesn't get a lot of engagement and conversion. So with that being said, Pinterest, a visual search engine, not a social media platform, has anywhere from like 13 months to several years that your blog post would still come up in their visual search. So this is why I don't think you should be sleeping on Pinterest when it comes to having a blog traffic strategy. You want to have good SEO for Google. Use Yoast. I think it's called Rank Math, RANK Math. Is another one that I used. I had been using Yoast for so long and got so used to it that it was really hard for me to switch to a different program, and I didn't think it provided to me as much as what I was getting from Yoast. So I highly recommend Yoast, but there are other things out there like, or is it SEO math? I don't know, something math. But it was SEO related. I have friends that use that and swear by it. So like there are other programs you can use, but please use something to help you with an SEO strategy. Now, Pinterest, completely different strategy. It used to be you could post hundreds of pins per day. You can't do that anymore. I mean, you could, but you would be flagged as spam. So for Pinterest, what you want to do is it would be really helpful if you could schedule your pins Now, if you have, I don't know if you can do this on a personal account because I've only ever had a Pinterest business account, which you can get for free. You just have to like validate your website through a series of steps, which may have changed since I last did it. How many years ago now? Like what, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. So, um, you want to have a business account with them. You can schedule pins through them. I use Metricool. I love using Metricool. I can use it for Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. It's really great. I really love it. Um, if you're interested in trying Metricool, I am going to include an affiliate link to it in my YouTube description, which means I may receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. Um, but I love Metricool. It's just really great, and I've been using it to schedule my pins lately, and it's been totally fine. Now, the one that I think has a huge monopoly on Pinterest strategy specifically is called Tailwind. I think their website is actually Tailwind app, and they're awesome. They're also expensive. So if you're looking for a scheduler, but like budget friendly, I would look at something like Metricool. If you have the money to spend and you're looking for something for Pinterest specifically, I think they also do post to Instagram and Facebook now. But if you're looking for something that's very Pinterest heavy, you want Tailwind. Tailwind is just so good. They have a visual scheduler and you can like drag and drop and move things around, and it's really, really cool. But when it comes to your Pinterest strategy, the most you need are 3 pins a day. That's it. That's all you need is 3 pins a day. I recommend posting your pins somewhere between 5 and 10 o'clock at night. You want to spread them out. And the reason for that is because people are on Pinterest after work. So they're looking for recipes for dinner. They're looking for things that their children need. They're looking to, continue planning vacations that they have coming up. There are so many things people are doing on Pinterest after work that is such a good time to have something scheduled to drop on Pinterest. And you can honestly take like just a couple of hours and sit down and schedule all of your pins for Pinterest for like the next month. Like this is something that does not have to be really hard to worry about. I do recommend don't post the same blog post multiple times per day. Don't post the same blog post within a couple of weeks. Like spread it out over months because it will see that as spam. So I would say give each blog post some time in the sun and set it up that way. I would say look at your seasonal content. Like if you write, like I have a post about Halloween lore. I also have a post about Halloween books. I have those scheduled to drop in one drops at the end of August and one drops sometime in September. And those see the traffic that they need to see because it is seasonal content, right? It's not evergreen. So I schedule that out when Halloween stuff starts dropping, which I can't believe I'm saying that I dropped that in August, but it's true I do because that's when Halloween, so people are counting down 30 days to Halloween and stuff like that. So that's when that stuff becomes relevant, right? Um Another thing with your Pinterest strategy is you want to post a little bit of other people's stuff. It doesn't have to be a lot. I would say 10 to 20% should be other people's posts, like a repost, um, or a repin. Um, because it has something to do with like the spamminess and like the engagement aspect. So as long as you're also posting some other content along with your content, it looks very organic, very legitimate, very good, very balanced, that kind of thing. So go through and look at people's blogs who share your niche that would be value added to the people who follow you on Pinterest, to the people who would be looking for similar things to what you share on Pinterest. And you'll find that that's very helpful. So I hope those tips are helpful for you for Pinterest. I could really go off about Pinterest. I paid someone to handle my Pinterest account for a little while, and I learned so much on how to do it. And um, now I run Pinterest myself. And at one point, before COVID, I was up to like seven or 800,000 monthly views on Pinterest. I was doing really well. And then, a percentage of that converted over to my website, which was really great. Now with just starting over and not having touched it for 2 years, it's at like 40,000, 45,000 views per month. It is declining because I haven't posted anything in a couple years, with the exception of the last couple weeks. But that just goes to show how long your stuff gets you, like, views on Pinterest. It stays for a long time. So please don't sleep on Pinterest. SEO for Google ranking is your first priority, then a Pinterest strategy. Okay. 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 So I think the most important thing to know is that traffic does not come from one specific place. You get a lot from Google and you get a lot from Pinterest. You can get conversion from Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Threads and YouTube. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's a little more difficult, especially with apps like Instagram, where the whole point is they want you to stay on their app and not leave it, right? So, um, just know that there are some barriers to different social media apps when it comes to posting about your blog. Still post about it, still let people know that you have a blog, that you write about stuff on your blog, right? But just know that you might see better conversion with organic searches in Google and organic searches through Pinterest. Um, the other thing too is, like, this is not instant overnight success. So usually it takes about, for newer websites, it takes 3 to 9 months for Google to start crawling through, obtaining information from your website, trusting your website, seeing it as credible and not spam, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and the longer your website is online and the more posts you have and the more you start showing up in Google searches, you'll find that that timeline of 3 to 9 months, which usually is more like 6 to 9 months when you're a new website, can go down to that 3 to 6 month marker. Like, you start to see a benefit from having a long-term blog and being a credible site in the eyes of the Google web crawler. So it's not overnight success with that. Now, if you have great conversion from your social media, if you have great conversion from your Pinterest strategy, whatever, you might see like some upticks here and there. Like, I know when I post to Facebook, I see a couple click in from Facebook, within that week, but usually it's where I see it from is Pinterest and Google. So, and my email newsletter. Every once in a while I'll do like an update of, like, here are my top 5 trending posts for the quarter, and I'll see a couple of clicks from there. But mostly it's SEO strategy for Google ranking, and Pinterest is where I see my conversion. So that's where I put my effort, because social media is not as helpful. So I very casually post about my blog on social media, and I focus way harder on SEO strategy and Pinterest strategy, just because it's proven to be much more fruitful for my blog. So that's all I'm kind of covering today for your blog traffic strategy. I hope that was really helpful. And just know that, you know, it's not overnight. And I think I'm an impatient person. I'm a very, very impatient person. So to not see something happen overnight and to refresh my analytics every morning and go like, oh God, it only went up like this much. It only went up this much. I'm a very impatient person. So I totally get where you're coming from if you're sitting there hitting refresh and refresh and refresh and refresh and refresh and refresh. I 100% get it. But just have a good strategy moving forward, and you'll see within a couple months' time, your blog is just going to go through this wave of organic search results and conversion and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be amazing for your blog if you just develop an SEO strategy and a Pinterest strategy. And everything else is just bonus, right? Like the social media, the email, the collaboration, everything like that is just bonus. So I wish you luck on your traffic strategy journey. And if you just want to talk about your business, your blog, anything like that, I am open on Sundays and Tuesdays to talk about that through my Hot Mess Triage, which you can book me through my Stan Store link, which is in the YouTube description. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful for your blog, and please like it. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.